stars from 13 stars. Here we are for our fortnightly discussion of Cycle 222. Well, this week we are going to talk about a lot of chapters. I mean, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. And a lot of happenings took place. Do you know what I'm most liking about this novel? Because there are a lot of possibilities. Remember in the very first one that I said that Robert Bloch, when wrote Cycle 2, he was completely disappointed with Hollywood and all the system. We learned that he was indeed pissed with the system. There is a fantastic sentence when he says in chapter maybe 20 or 21 that Hollywood is the prostitute. Whoa, whoa, a lot of happenings, a lot of possibilities, because I'm unable to say that Norman Bates is gonna be the greatest murder of this book. Because look, we have Roy Ames, that the script writer, okay? He has a twisted mind. Claiborne is presenting himself, at least to me, as a twisted mind as well, okay? There is this Santo Vizzini that is weirdo as hell, okay? Jan Harper, okay, she is obsessed with the fame and everything that she can like achieve, but hasn't achieved yet. What a bunch of characters, okay? And now we have Paul Morgan. Paul Morgan, like the super famous, selfish, shallow, filthy Paul Morgan. But let's talk about the storyline among these chapters for you to understand what I'm talking about. Let's start. Oh, there are so many happenings that I got some help here. Okay, let me put my book here. Well, we start when Roy Ames, that is clearly fond of Jane Harper, says that he's gonna have a meeting with Claiborne and Driscoll to analyze and talk about the script of the crazy lady. Jane Harper is so annoyed, is so quiet about everything because she wants to record this film. This film is her life, it's her chance, her steps for the fame. And she will never allow nobody to stop it or even to change it. What does she do? She goes to the studio uninvited at the time of the meeting, okay? The secretary, Driscoll's secretary, is there and asks, "What the hell are you doing here? They are in a meeting and you cannot go there." "Oh, okay, I just passed by." And the secretary commits a mistake that is asking her to take care of the fort for a while she goes downstairs, maybe to the toilet, maybe to have a cigarette. It's not clear in the book. And what does Jane do? He presses the button on the intercom and she listens to everything that is going on in the meeting. And then she makes a great entrance in the meeting. And she defends with all her strength the process of continuation of Crazy Lady, okay? And she indeed is indeed convincing because Claiborne changes his mind about trying to stop the motion picture, okay? And he decides to stay in Hollywood for a week, okay, as a technical advisor. Oh, well, I'm not Percipian, okay, and I see that somehow Claiborne is fond of Jane Harper and listening to her, okay, to her words, trying to convince, trying to persuade everybody, made him feel well. Yeah, he decides to stay. Well, then Claiborne and Roy Ames, the script writer, they go downstairs to have lunch. They talk about some amenities. Okay, Claiborne is in fact analyzing Roy Ames, and he hadn't read the script yet, so they don't have much to talk about it. Claiborne promises that he's gonna read it, and they are gonna have a meeting the next day for discussing the contents, checking out if they are close to truth or not, if he's going to suggest changes or not. He goes to the motel room 6, okay, and reads the script. He thinks, in his opinion, the script is rather violent. Okay, they are selling violence. Okay, and this is not exactly what Claiborne wanted to see on the screen, talking about regarding Norman Bates, because the motive, okay, what drove Bates to the murders in his mind is more important than the murders themselves. He doesn't want to see blood on the screen. He wants to see explanation for the murders. And this is what he's going to try to explain Roy the next day. When he's thinking about all this speech that he has to prepare for Roy Ames for the next day, Tom Post arrives in his room. He passes by with a bucket of beer just to nose around. Okay? Nothing important is said besides one sentence that Tom Post says. He used it to be a scriptwriter, remember? He says that all professional writers are liars, and he advises Claiborne to take care. Mm. Well, next day, oh no, 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 next day, no, there's a great happening these nights. Claiborne says farewell to Tom Post and says that he wants to eat something and he goes to a restaurant. Okay, as soon as he arrives there and sees the food, he is disgusted and think about why didn't I go to the supermarket and buy some goods to be in the motel so as to will never have to eat it again. So he heads to the supermarket. He goes on foot, observing the passerbys in search of Norman Bates. Okay. He gets in the supermarket. He's clearly irritated with everything and everybody. The supermarket is crowded. Okay. And do you know what he sees? Better saying, do you know who he sees from those mirrors that are hung from the ceiling? He sees Norman Bates. Oh my God, Norman Bates is in Hollywood. Yes, he's sure he had seen Norman Bates. Or, in my opinion, remember, a person who resembles Norman Bates. However, he rushes. He rushes to the way out of the supermarket. He searches in the lot. He searches inside the supermarket. He starts asking questions. He goes to the street, but no, no Bates is seen no more. Okay. He thinks, should I call the police? No, they're not gonna believe me. Should I call Driscoll and the staff? No, they're not gonna believe me. So what I'm gonna do? To my motel to sleep. Well, next day he has a meeting with Roy Ames to talk about changes, suggestions of changes for the script. Okay, they had this conversation, and Claiborne understands that Roy Ames is the main writer of the script. However, Santo Vittini is a co-writer, and he wrote basically the bloody scenes. Okay, and Roy Ames advised Claiborne that under no circumstance Vizzini would allow changes in the bloody scenes. Well, it's an impasse, okay? They keep talking about it. And just for information, Claiborne understands that Roy Ames is falling for Jane Harper, who invited Claiborne to have dinner the same night. OMG, do we have a triangle? I love triangle. I don't think so. Uh, Tonight, Jane Harper is at home preparing a special dinner for Claiborne, and we get to know that somehow she's fond of the doctor, our psychiatrist. Okay, she prepares the dinner, but what is her real intention? Not sex. Okay, her real intention is understand the amount of changes that Claiborne suggested to the script, and it's a tense dinner. Okay, the atmosphere gets dark when Claiborne talks about some cuts in the dialogues. Okay, that she's gonna lose some lines because of the cuts in the murder scenes. She's pissed, and they start talking about her background, his background, and she's like even more annoyed because Claiborne seems to be analyzing her under the lights of psychology. Okay, we understand that she is not a Hollywood prostitute. How she understood he had called her. Okay, she comes from a functional family, daddy, mommy, Jen, and a sister who had a baby at the age of 16 and ran away and is lost in the world. Okay. She, on the other hand, graduated from high school and then started drama class. Okay. And this role is her opportunity to the fame. Uh, what else? What else? What else? What else do we have here? I don't want to go. Oh, I know. I remember something. Let's do a step back. When Claiborne was in the studio the same day, but in the afternoon, he started lurking in the sets. Okay, and he went to stage 7. That is exactly Norma Bates' room. Okay, obviously in Hollywood, not the real one in Bates Motel. Okay, and he's amazed by the similarities that he sees between this studio and the real Norma Bates room that he saw back then in Cycle 1. Well, but he's flabbergasted about something that he sees at the end of this trip into Bates' room. He sees Paul Morgan dressed as Norma Bates, a transvestite. Okay, he sees him wearing the clothes, wearing the wig, and he is dumbfounded about the resemblance that he saw. He felt that he was seeing, okay, the remains of Norma Bates. Creepy. After this episode, they went to a pub to drink some beer and some drinks, okay, and he sees that Paul Morgan has some sort of twisted mind, but he is not exactly a good person. Okay, he analyzes that he's a damn selfish man. Okay, a shallow one and a filthy one. He wraps it out when he sees a fan coming and asking for an autograph from Paul Morgan, and the girl was a young one, okay, a petite one. And Paul Morgan starts flirting with her. And he wrote in her book of autograph, he wrote something very serious for a young girl. He writes like to, I forgot the name of the girl. Maybe I wrote it here. Let me see. Yes, I have it here. Uh, to Jane Sherborne, who gives good head. Oh my God, do you understand this? Yes, he writes this to a young girl. OMG. Well, after this, he goes to Jen Harper's to have dinner with her. And this is the tense atmosphere that I said. At the end of the dinner time, the chimes rang. And who is there? Roy Ames is there. At first, Jen thinks that he's there, like to lurk, to perk about like what are they doing, but no, somebody had set fire to the studio. Rush there. When they arrived at the gate of the studio, they didn't see like smoke. They didn't see fire cars or stuff like that. And Claiborne thinks, what's this, Roy Ames? What has Driscoll did to you? Is it a joke? Like, what's happening here? And then they understand that they meet, in fact, Driscoll, Frank, that is from the fire department of the studio, and Chuck, that is one of the security guards. The six of them start like not talking, shouting to each other, and they understand that there had been an accident at Norma's room. Okay, somebody set fire to Norma's bed using gasoline. Okay, Driscoll refused to believe that it was an arsonist. He wants to believe that that was an accident. However, a gallon of gasoline was found under the bed, under Norma's bed. How it comes? Driscoll starts making a story that some workers, okay, lazy ones, they close to the time of leaving the studio, they put some material under the bed, including this gasoline gallon, okay, and then they left. And one of them could have lit a cigarette and started the accident. Roy Ames Claiborne refused to believe in Driscoll's story, as well as Chuck and Frank. However, Driscoll and his persuasive words, they the words, okay, convinced them to cover all the evidences and to keep the story dark. They are going to start the next day as nothing had happened. Well, these were all the happenings of all those chapters between 17 and 23. We can think somebody set fire to the studio, or was that a real accident? Uh, Alibis. Who doesn't have one? Claiborne and Jen were together. I don't think Driscoll would do that, but how about Roy Ames? Paul Morgan? Santo Vizzini? Norman Bates! Guys, there are plenty of things for us to think during this weekend. We are gonna see next week for more two chapters. And this is it, guys. Come with us. I know you are enjoying this mystery, and I know Robert Block is not gonna disappoint us. See you next week!